I think we're missing the boat if we don't even almost require people to transition out of prison, go to a transition house. When a guy gets out, or a female gets out of prison and they're dumped off at the bus station with $100 in their pocket, nowhere to go, they're bound to go back to prison.
They paid their debt to society, and so now it's up to us to make sure that we provide a holistic approach to them coming back into society. Because we know historical data shows us that if we don't do that, we're going to be putting them back into the criminal justice system. I think elected officials have a very important role to play when you talk about individuals who have gone through our criminal justice system. When you look at the issue of reentry, it's important for policymakers to be able to provide the tools and resources that are necessary for those individuals to come back into society. Because we're not dealing with just former inmates. We're dealing with mothers, we're dealing with fathers. We're dealing with men and women who are trying to come back into society, be able to find a place of employment, but really reestablish themselves with their families and reestablish themselves with their community.
The Lord laid it on my heart to get involved with ex-cons. I fought it for about 6 months. Then I said, I don't know how long I got to live, but if that's what you want me to do, that's what I'll do. So I've been involved since '05 with guys coming out of prison. And quite frankly, I'm more blessed than they are. I pick guys up at the bus station with nothing, serving 25, 30 years. I'd always seen guys on the street, seen guys being arrested, seen guys go to court, seen them walk out of court, be committed to prison, but I'd never seen guys coming out. And it's quite a difference to see a guy that has nothing and no friends and no family and is expected to make it on the streets with $100 or less in his pocket. It's a sad situation. No wonder we got such a high recidivism rate in the Department of Correction, because these guys have nothing when they come out.
We are Mercy House program, and that is a transitional housing for men coming out of prison. And we've operated that program for approximately 12 years now. And what we try to do is, as guys, they have to write us before they come, and then we accept them. We only have space for 11 beds. But it's a program where we take guys in for 6 to 8 months and try to transition them back into society by helping them get jobs, be mentors to them, get their driver's license, their social security cards, anything that they need, clothes. The first 2 months we just try to provide everything for them and get everything that they need to transition back in. And then we start charging them $50 a week for rent. And so we want them to, in the first 2 months, kind of enjoy themselves as they get out, but we also want them to work toward getting a job, and so they can sustain themselves on their own when they leave the program.
6 to 8 months to 10 months, and get their life straight, start with a job, have guys that just are hungry for some freedom, and they want to see people that they can believe in and have faith in. And it's a reward to me to see a guy make it, and we've had a lot of them to make it.
And so we have to do all we can to make sure that we fulfill what the Constitution says, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They have now been fully restored back into the community, into society, and so they should be able to enjoy those same rights that we all have been enjoying while they were incarcerated.
What these guys need is mentors. They need guys that will show them that they have confidence and faith in them. The Lord's already forgiven them. It's the church members and the so-called Christians that can't forgive these guys. and that's bad. That's not good.
Whenever I speak in a lot of public settings, I always start off by saying that is no matter how long I've been practicing in criminal defense, how many courtrooms I walk into, and I've been doing it for almost 7.5 years ago, I still can't get over the fact that when I look over on the side and the guys that they have in custody in court, it's always nothing but black men. 99% of the inmates are always black men, and they're not just sitting there in suits on. They're in the county blues or the county stripes or the county orange, depending on what county that you're in, and they shackled from their ankles all the way on their wrists. And so what's disturbing is that sight, period.
What's so unique and what's so special about the 1,000-Man Rally is that it's not just a one-day event. It's a movement. It's a movement that incorporates not only those who have been incarcerated, but also incorporates those who haven't been. And what's most important is how do they play a role in today's society? How do they play a role in the community? Whether they're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever the case may be, Native American, we want them to be able to play a role in the community. And so that's what the 1,000-Man Rally has been able to do for the past 4 years. We've been able to connect men with young men who need mentors. We know that our young men are out there and they need someone to connect to. A lot of times, single moms can't do everything, and so we need mentors. And that's what's been so great about the 1,000-Man Rally is that we've been able to provide mentors to young men throughout this community, both in Leon and Gaston County.
Yeah, my father wrote a book called Breaking the Chains of Psychological Slavery. And it started from the original book was Changing Images of Psychological Slavery, and then he came back and wrote the book Breaking the Chains of Images of Psychological Slavery. And he talks about, of course, obviously the chains and images of psychological slavery, just those things that we as black people have to deal with as being blacks in America, and the consequences and the results of slavery that still lingers on, that affects us in our day-to-day lives and affects a lot of these young black males that I was just speaking of that we see in custody, that causes them to be involved in these different crimes, or causes them not to be at home, causes them not to want to work a full-time job, want to go out and get money and disrespect women. All of those are remnants of slavery, and that's what my dad talks a lot about. But there is a way to get over that hump, and that'll start with us taking back control of our community, and that's why this 1,000-Man Rally is so important. That's why the work of Pastor James that he does throughout the year is so important, because we have to take back our community.
I'm excited about where we've come from with the 1,000-Man Rally. Just as a vision from Pastor Greg James, when he came out of prison, being a drum major for those who were still incarcerated, being a drum major for those who were coming out of prison, and saying, look, we have to do more. That's why I'm so excited that this past legislative session, we passed a law that gave former inmates the ability to go out and get their occupational license, where they want to go out and be plumbers or barbers or what have you. We know that there's a stigma that's attached to those who come out of prison. But Pastor Greg James said, look, in God's eyes, we're all his children. And so that's that's the other part of the 1,000-Man Rally. We're all one community. We sink or swim together. And so working with Pastor Greg James and so many other ministers in this community has been very, very fulfilling to me, but also to a number of individuals that have seen the impact of not only what the 1,000-Man Rally has done and is doing, but what it will do in the future. You know, the future is very, very bright for this initiative. It's one that I don't own it. Pastor Greg James doesn't own it. But as a community, we own it. We own this initiative. And so it's up to all of us to find our place, our role, our niche in helping this movement continue. Whether it's helping a former inmate find job placement, whether it's mentoring a young man or a young woman, it's up to us to ensure that the future of our community is bright. And the 1,000-man rally is just another venue and vehicle to ensure that.